Nemco. If you're a regular follower of my work, you know I like to do experiments, especially with the piano. Tomorrow I'm doing one of my quarterly concerts. Welcomes in each season. This one is called Fall, and this time I don't do much rehearsal because these days, in my laziness, I play basically things that I know, but with little bits of minor rehearsal, just to brush up on things I'm not sure about. And if I'm not really sure about something, I make it part of a medley, so I don't spend too much time on it. I thought I would actually do this. I have not rehearsed at all for this, and I thought I would do my first and probably only rehearsal here. If it's something that's going to require more practice, I won't do that. I won't bore you with that. But the mini rehearsals for most or all the songs I'm going to do for you right now, and see what you think. Okay, I'm going to try to remember, which I sometimes don't, to have this set so you can see the keyboard. Not that it's that important, but people seem to like that. Anyway, first song, you always start with something upbeat. So I'm going to, and because I'm old, mostly it's old songs, I'm going to play something that isn't that old. That old, which is September. And that's the song I know the least. So I'll start the practice by just playing it slowly so I can get it in my head a little bit. And I'll probably play this on an electric piano to seem cooler rather than regular piano. That will do well enough. This is, my concerts are not big-time concerts. They're at the big patio at the Orinda Community Center. Not that many people show up, maybe 25, 30 people show up. So I don't get compulsive about this. People often ask, how do I get so much done? Well, part of how I get so much done is I don't put excessive effort relative to what the benefit that would derive to my audience or myself. So, okay, so now... next one I feel more confident about. I'll just play a little of it because I like it. It's called Weekend in New England. Now I'll switch to traditional piano. I like the idea of varying. And because that's a song I know well, my mind, for better or worse, wanders a bit. And so I was just, the constant deliberation when I give a concert is whether I should tell people, and when in the concert I should tell people, that they've been listening to a 7, maybe 8-fingered piano player. I can't straighten this anymore, or this one, or this one. I like doing it because it kind of shows that you can say a little bit about how you can then triumph over disability. But sometimes it seems like a show-off, so I'm not sure. I just leave it ad lib and I then do whatever the hell feels right at the time. Okay, then there's a medley of songs that I don't know that well except for one of them. Slower songs, September in the Rain, Autumn in New York, neither of which I know well at all. September Song and Try to Remember, which I do know, so I'll play a little of all that. Let me do it this way. I like, because it's rain, I'm going to play a little rainy introduction. Autumn in New York. September Song. Try to remember. Okay, I like the way I played this out, and I'll try to remember. The things I want to tell you, three things. One is I make note mistakes, and that's not what matters. I try to play as well as I can, especially with the 7 fingers. But what counts is the feeling. If I'm playing with the most feeling with every note, that's a win. And I do play only by ear. I can barely read music, so every time I play it's going to be a little different. But all I am trying to think of when I don't let myself get distracted is what will make the next note sound good. I know that sounds weird, but people who play by ear understand that. And the third thing, or the second thing, whatever, the thing I want to, that I do is, it can get boring, anesthetizing to listen to something sound the same for more than a few bars at a time. So you'll notice that every few bars I change. We'll change to a lower octave, play it softer, change a little different style, a little faster, and so that hopefully keeps people interested. Okay, next. What's interesting, and it's not my favorite, but when I ask for requests, people say they want to hear the blues. So I always incorporate a blues, and I'm saying this is the fall blues, which is bullshit. It's just some blues thing. But anyway, here's some blues. Fall blues could easily have been spring blues, whatever. Still, I do think you're getting to see the keyboard for what it's worth. Like I said, I can't read music, write music, but I had these things going through my head, and it turned into a little 3.5-minute suite called Birth, Life, and Death. I don't need to rehearse it, I know it, but you might like hearing it, so what the hell. Here's the birth parts, and then we'll move into life and then death, or dying and death. busy part. Dying and death. Birth, Life, and Death. I looked up songs with an autumn theme and came on with this over 100-year-old song, Shine on Harvest Moon. I've never played before. I was just the rehearsal, so let me see what it sounds like. I think that's not worthy of a whole song. I may integrate that into some medley of some sort, maybe to break up the slow songs. I don't know. Next one is Autumn Leaves. It's my mother's favorite song and one of mine. I'm going to play the whole thing for you just because I think you'll like it. And I'm going to include the verse, which nobody's ever heard of. And Autumn Leaves, if you're at all young, you've never heard of. But let me play it for you. I love it. It's beautiful to me. Autumn Leaves. Okay, stormy weather, perfect for the fall, I guess. I don't know if I can play it well. I'm going to try a little bit. Not so bad. I was deliberating deleting it when I started, but I think I'll keep it. Maple Leaf Rag. I like to introduce this by saying I'm going to try to channel the great Scott Joplin who wrote Maple Leaf Rag, and I'm going to try to beat him. I've heard him play it on I think on a player piano or whatever, but I like to think that maybe I could beat his ass. Anyway, I will start slowly, and just maybe I'll be able to speed up. Not too terrible for 7 or 8 fingers. Anyway, and then I'm going to play a Halloween medley, which is just every damn sad, scary song I could think of. So here's what it is. Alfred Hitchcock. Volga Boatman. hoping I might try to, for a little humor, add a little Latino rhythm to it. I'm not sure it worked. Anyway, I'm going to end with You'll Never Walk Alone, something touching in the rain, you know, all that. So this is also one of my favorite songs, You'll Never Walk Alone. And that's an abbreviated version of my concert. I may go over a couple of these things, but basically I'm going to go on and do this, talk a little bit in between to be mildly entertaining. And you're welcome to come. It's free. In front of the Orinda Community Center, in front of the Cafe Teatro, big, large patio, outdoors, weather should be beautiful. 26 Orinda Way in Orinda, California. You're welcome to come. If not, hope you enjoyed this. In any event, I thank you for watching. I welcome your thumbs up and accept your thumbs down. I always look forward to your comments, and especially like it if you hit the share button below. Share on your social media so that my efforts can have broader impact. And I am flattered if you choose to subscribe to my channel, which mainly consists of my reading aloud my essays and articles and short stories, but occasionally punctuated with this piano stuff. And certainly would welcome you taking a look at any of my 36 books, including the just published favorites, probably my best articles and short stories. They are all on Amazon, though. In any event, I thank you for watching. I am Marty Nemko.